welcome everybody. So this is a different approach to the channel that I had an idea for. And after all of the new City Edition uniforms were released yesterday, I figured why not rank them? So that's what we're gonna do. So this is pretty self-explanatory. The tiers go from S, which is the best, all the way down to F, which is the worst. And I'll go team by team and kind of explaining why. Now, as a disclaimer, this is strictly based off of looks. Like, there's no thought going behind the history behind the uniform or the logo or the choices behind the colors or anything like that. So keep that in mind throughout the video. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, we have the Atlanta Hawks. I kind of like this, though. It's got a play on their current uniforms with a little bit of the traditional old logo and everything. Other than that, it's nothing too special. So I think I'm going to give this a B tier, which is going to be above average. Now, the Celtics, it's hard to really describe the Celtics jerseys because it's pretty simple. Only 2, maybe 3 colors. However, I kind of like this, though, because it kind of brings back the throwback look for the 75th anniversary while being still a fresh take on the uniform. So I'm going to put this in B tier as well. Now the Nets. I love these jerseys here. It reminds me of the Drazen Petrovic, Vince Carter-esque days of that team. And for that reason alone, I'm going to put that in the A tier. When I saw these Charlotte Hornets jerseys leaked on Twitter, I was very mixed about it because I'm not a fan of gradients. However, I feel like this kind of works. It's weird because I'm normally not a fan of the whole honeycomb thing that the Hornets have going on. I understand why they do it, but it's not my thing. But this kind of works. So I'm gonna put this in B tier, but that might go up or down depending on how I feel after the rest of this. Chicago Bulls, very, very simple yet elegant choice. It's supposed to be a combination of different eras of uniforms, which I like. Brings little different aspects of it. And it reminds me of the Jordan days, which I like. And I feel like this is not as great as the Nets, but I don't want to create another tier in between here. Like, I feel like it's better than all of these 3. So I'm just going to put it in A tier, and then we'll see how it goes. Ugh, Cleveland. These ones, not a fan. And this will be one of the few, but it's going the F tier. I just don't like the logo. It looks very busy with a very modern logo next to it in the Quicken Loans. I don't know. It's not a good combination for me. Next up is Dallas. I always loved the green of the Dallas Mavericks, and I feel like they never utilized it enough. And I feel like this does a pretty good job of it, where it's not overtaking the entire jersey, but it's still unique in that aspect. And I like the vintage retro style Dallas logo as well. And for that reason, I'm going to put this in A tier alongside the Nets and the Bulls. There's 2 jerseys on here that look very similar, and you'll see which one I'm talking about after I talk about the Nuggets. But I like the Nuggets. It's sort of a different take on what they've normally done, which is the multicolor stripes along the torso. But it feels different in a way. It's not overpowering. Like, it's not the main thing about the jersey, which I like. And I like the retro style Denver across the chest here too. And it's difficult to rank these because I don't think we've seen anything that's S tier worthy yet. But there's going to be a lot of clumping around this A and B tier. Detroit, it's simple. There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like they could have done something more. I don't know what that is yet because a red jersey is hard to pull off. But in all honesty, it doesn't look bad. It's nothing great. So I'm just going to put it middle of the road in C tier. I feel like I could say the same thing about the Warriors, except I really do like the addition of the lightning strikes on the sides here. Although the logo is a bit basic because it's very similar to what they wear normally. And the black is a different take for them, but honestly, I kind of like it. I don't know where it's going to fall in between these two tiers, but for right now, I'm going to put it in B, and we'll see where it is later. This one was very disappointing to me. I love these classic Houston Rockets jerseys, the ones where Yao Ming wore them and Charles Barkley wore them for a short period of time, but I feel like they missed the mark on this. They could have done something really cool with this, and it just feels like empty to a certain extent. I don't know if it's just me, but the Houston logo looks out of place with this. And for that reason, I think it's going to go in C. But it might honestly drop down to D depending on how I feel after. Same thing with the Pacers. I like these jerseys, the retro ones. But it just feels like it's either this or the pinstripes. And there's no new variation to it. It's not bad. Just like the Houston and the Detroit ones. They're not bad, but I feel like they could have done way better. And that reason it's in C as well. But here we go. The first S tier jersey is the Los Angeles Clippers. I love the reference to the San Diego Clippers with the baby blue and the orange. I loved this colorway for so long, and I'm so glad they implemented it in a jersey this year. I think this is a huge upgrade over the Buffalo Braves jerseys from last year, and I feel like this could be really cool with the court design and everything that they're playing for it. The Lakers, this was a very tough one as well. I decided between S and A. I was thinking about this for a while, and honestly, I came to the decision that it's A, but that's not a bad thing at all. I really, really like the implementation of the stars here because it's something you really never see in jerseys, unless they're an all-star jersey. But I kind of like the combination of the baby blue and the purple. It looks very good. It's got the majestic colors, kind of signifying the Lakers' royalty. So for this reason, it's going to be in the A tier. The Memphis. I have always been a fan of Memphis's jerseys, but I've like these other ones. I feel like it missed the mark, but honestly, I think it did it in a worse way, and for that reason, it's in D. They have so many cool jerseys, like the baby blue with the cartoon grizzly bear on it, and it just feels very bland. Now, the details in better pictures kind of show off the collar here. But even then, I don't feel like it does enough to sell me on this as a great jersey. And as well as a team that has had great jerseys, the Miami Heat. I liked the ones like the Miami Vice theme that they were going for, but these are not it. I hate to say it. I hate the whole scrapbooking thing. I didn't really like it in Cleveland's jerseys last year where they did it, but I feel like they did a better job. It just feels like a last minute thing put together, and quite honestly, it just looks really bad. Now, going from the cellar to the penthouse, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. I love the bold font here, as well as the implementation of the purple, which reminds me of the Ray Allen days and the Michael Reds. I really, really like this jersey. It's simple yet elegant in a really, really good way. And next up, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's a new take on an old classic during the days of Kevin Garnett and Latrell Sprewell and Sam Cassell with a different color. And quite honestly, I don't know if I really like it. I don't think it looks bad, but I feel like they've had better jerseys in recent years as well. It's hard to rank because going with classic jerseys and redesigns of classic jerseys, it's always going to draw comparisons to the original. And I don't know if this one does the mark. Now, I don't think it's near this bad, but it's going to fall around these tiers. And I'm starting to notice a trend in this C tier of failed redesigns of classic jerseys. I don't know if that's it's due to the principle, but yeah, I don't know. It's just been happening. Next up, we have not the Minnesota Timberwolves. We just covered the Minnesota Timberwolves. Next up, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. And to me, these feel like a practice jersey, like something you'd see with a G League wear or the Summer League team. It's like, again, it just doesn't look bad, but there's not enough for me to really like it. For that reason, it's going in D tier next to Memphis. The number 1 and 2 picks in the 2019 draft, right next to each other again, Zion and Ja. Now with just bad jerseys. The city of the term Bing Bong, the New York Knicks, have honestly a pretty cool design here. You know where we don't see the Knicks wear black? We've only seen it in like accented times with, like, again, Latrell Sprewell. It's the only guy I can think of with these jerseys, but it works. I mean, the blue is weird not seeing the Knicks wear blue, but in all honesty, I like it. I think it's going to go in A tier for me, to be honest. I like the combination of the orange and black. I don't know if that's because I'm a Flyers fan or not, but I think it works pretty well. These jerseys were almost perfect. The Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a play on the old jerseys from, I believe, 2014. I could be wrong on that, but when Kevin Durant was still on the team, it was these jerseys, but instead of the white base, it was a navy blue. These were one of my favorite jerseys of all time. And honestly, I think these outshine that. The only thing I don't like is the logo of the sponsor. Where many of these jerseys, the sponsors kind of entail with the jersey as well, just to kind of flow with the color and become not so like bold, and they don't like stand out as much. And this jersey does that, and it's almost perfect. It's still going in X tier, I have to say that, but it would have been one of the best jerseys possibly of all time if they got rid of the coloring in the logo. Now the Magic, it's weird. For a team whose colors are blue and silver, they've been wearing orange a lot. I understand it because it's like Orange County and everything like that, and the Florida Oranges, but it doesn't have anything to do with Magic. I feel like they could do a much better job and bringing back throwback designs in a new, cool way. Again, it doesn't look visually bad, but again, could have done more. That's why it's in the average tier. Bias aside, these might be one of my favorite jerseys out of this entire collection. The Sixers did it right. Now, I know the meaning behind these jerseys, which is why I like them even more, but I think they did a very good job. These are very comparable to the Denver Nuggets. Ironically, they're right above each other. With the multicolored on the side panels, with the vintage font, simple navy blue base. I feel like the Sixers do a little bit better of a job, like tying in the Technicolor on the side to the vintage font on the front, where Denver feels like an old logo and a modern version of the old jersey. I feel like this has a very good, interesting new take on an old classic. There's a famous saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what the Phoenix Suns did this year. Riding off the coattails of their finals appearance, the Valley's coming back again this season, and quite honestly, these are still one of the cleanest jerseys in the entire league. I love the idea of the multicolor print along the sides, and it kind of represents the mountains in a different way from another team that we'll get to in a few jerseys later. But I feel like they do a good, refreshing take on like a very cool color scheme for a team. Again, the word dull comes to mind when I think of Portland's jerseys. Damian Lillard, man. He's one of the coolest players in the league, yet they just constantly bring back the Rip City theme and don't do anything new with it. There's so many things that you could probably do with this. This feels like a very big lowdown from last year and the Oregon Trail design on the very brown tinted jerseys, which I really loved. But it's just bland. I'll always think these are going to be a meme. Sacktown, if you know, you know. However, it's an okay jersey. I don't feel like it's on this tier just because I think there's some more significance behind these, and there's a reason why they look like this. The Sacramento Kings, I don't know. It doesn't feel anything special, anything positive coming out of these jerseys. So that's why they're going to go in the D tier. Now, this is the second time during this video where we've gone from very low to very high, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. I absolutely love these jerseys, and I love the implementation of the Fiesta colors. I've been saying for years how they have to do this more, and they finally did it in back-to-back seasons, and I think they stepped it up from last year's while still keeping the original design and the color blocking, yet just changing the colors, and it works perfectly. I think these are on par with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks as the 3 best jerseys in this whole new City Edition collection, and I'm very, very happy with what the Spurs did this year. It's very refreshing to see it because there's a new team with it's a very representative of the franchise, with tradition still standing in place with a new flair to it, while Pop's still around and they're going a different direction towards a rebuild. Just like CLB, this is mid. The Toronto Raptors have played this old dinosaur Vince Carter T-Mac jersey for years, as well as taking the sponsorship from Drake and the fact that he's Canadian and playing the OVO colors year after year after year, and they finally brought them both together, and it's very, very underwhelming in my opinion. I feel like they have so many cool ideas that they can do with this. They could bring in so many different collaborators from Canada, or even former players like Vince Carter designing a jersey and about like his dunk contest wins or something along those lines, but just rehashing the same idea over and over and expecting it to sell, which this will, unfortunately. I just don't think it's hitting the mark at all. The Utah Jazz is very similar to the Phoenix Suns in the way where it's got the multi-green or multicolored pattern along the base of the jersey. However, where I said if it ain't broke, don't fix it, these ones, it just doesn't feel the same to me. And for that reason, it's going to go in B tier. Again, not a bad jersey. I still like these jerseys, but I don't think it compares to anything above it. I like the simplicity in a lot of these other jerseys, while this just is the same old thing, and it doesn't live up to other counterparts like the Phoenix Suns or even the old Denver Nuggets jerseys. Last, but almost not least, we have the Washington Wizards. And again, throwbacks, not done necessarily right. I like the idea of kind of straying away from the complete USA theme that they've done in recent years. But again, this one, I don't know. I feel like there could have been more done. And for that reason, I'm going to put this one in D tier. I think I'm pretty happy with how this list turned out. And that concludes my ranking of the 2021-22 City Edition jerseys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one, but I hope you guys stuck around. And with that, I thank you again for watching the video. Please remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.